Bris, did you sort of do anything different in your review this week off the back of a defeat like that, or is it important for you just to keep things the same, if that question makes sense?
Yeah, I always try to keep the routine of the review. We win, we lose, big defeat, we might escape the problem, but it wasn't the case. The topics were different. The workflow was similar, but the topics were different. And I do think that it wasn't so easy to understand the layers of the defeat. Sometimes it's really clear. We won, we lost, we drew against this team. Those were the two main topics, and it's easy to understand. For Villa and Forest, it was more complex because it was a mix between collective problems, issues, and also individuals. It's a balance, and sometimes you can be really competitive collectively, but one mistake can change the dynamic. So football is like that. It's not only the collective behavior. It's also different individuals involved in the process, and those two games were like that. So I still want to deliver a clear message. So I can't spend 2 hours in this room with the players. This is the direction: 1, 2, 3, 4 points maximum, and had to make a choice.
The set pieces, it does feel like there's a contrast from earlier in the season where you had a threat and you were very good defensively.
Yeah.
I think part of that's probably the opposition worked out down by lads. They need to stop him, however they do it.
Yeah.
What's your kind of reflections on how set pieces developed over the season and what you have to do next?
Yeah, we had different conversation this week about this topic. We speak about corner kicks. I think we conceded 2 goals on that phase against Forest. Villa hit the bar also in the mid zone. Here it was at the back post. Against Fulham at home, we were exposed in the mid zone. You remember? We conceded 1 goal, and just before the halftime, a big chance. Here it was at the back post, so the opponents are evolving as well. So it's a game, and probably we are struggling at the minute because we had a good structure, but this structure has to be flexible. So depending on the way the opponent is working, and sometimes they can have a target but they don't deliver properly. It's possible, and probably against Forest, the delivery was perfect from Hutchinson. Really good, and they hit what they wanted to do exactly, and we didn't react properly. So it's about culture, and it's still the case in football. The players, I won't say the staff because we are really balanced in the staff, but the players like having the ball. So the build up under pressure, the attacking phase, counter press, zonal defense, we are okay. And the high press, but when we speak about set pieces, it's often a bit different. So we have to involve them in the process, and probably a big event like this helps to convince them, pay attention. Otherwise, it's going to be a big problem.
Are you still happy with the long throw? Have you considered not using it? Because earlier in the season it helped you get up the pitch as much as anything, but it feels like you've developed as a team and your opposition seem to be dealing with it
absolutely.
relatively comfortably.
Yeah, we're probably a bit less dangerous now, but yeah, we are still talking about little numbers, so sometimes it helps to create chaos. We had this conversation as well about the momentum we can generate or not through set pieces. And at the beginning of the season, we played every set pieces. So stop the game, set up, and then we'll see. Sometimes it's not always the right choice. Maybe it's more appropriate to keep the flow of the game. Don't play this set piece. We'll see later. So it's a balance because the opponents are working hard as well.
And can I just ask, you mentioned about the wingers there before. Obviously, recently you've been playing Enzo and Chris there, and I just wondered what your thoughts were on Habib, who obviously he's not had the season he would have hoped for, injuries, AFCON, and the potential of maybe taking Habib out and giving him a rest and maybe moving Enzo in field, is that something that you've been thinking about?
Yeah, we had a conversation with Habib recently about this topic, and Enzo as well, because Enzo played as a left winger. We know that it's probably his best position is as a midfielder, 10, 8, depending on the pair. So if our wingers are back, it gives us more options and probably more competition for the wingers. It wasn't the case for a long period, and more competition as well for the midfielders and different options. And it's still helpful because we are human. So when you are comfortable in your position without competition, it's not easy to maintain the same level, to push hard, because we need this extra drive to get better. And as a manager, when we have different options, let's say we start with Enzo as a 10, and then we a bit later with, for example, Rigi or Habib in this position, for the opponent it will be totally different, and it's positive for the outcome of the squad.
And just lastly, obviously you'll want to give Habib minutes, momentum, try and get some rhythm into him, but is there a fine line for you in your kind of head in terms of you could also risk maybe denting the players' confidence if you keep them going?
I don't think he's a risky profile at the minute, so because he feels strong, so we don't have any concern about that. Now it's about the opportunity, if it's possible, because we never know. If we can find a higher level of competition, it helps. I think it helps because for the management of the squad, it's still positive. Yeah.
How would you kind of respond, Regis, to anyone who said the Villa and the Forest games are what you get from a team that's achieved its goals, and that whatever team, this isn't just Sunderland, whatever team, we can talk about their professionals, we can talk about their other things they want to achieve, but actually the main goal of the season has been achieved. How difficult does it become then to reset?
Yeah, it's hard to assess. We had probably this conversation last season. 5 games before the end, so we lost 5 times, and we didn't lose on purpose. We tried to win, but it was impossible to break the sequence. I don't know why, because we worked hard, and then we went into the playoffs. They switch on, so it exists, and we try to work hard and to give a perspective to the team, and we never know if it's somewhere in their behaviors, in their daily standards or not, but it's possible. Yeah.
And when you talk about the wingers, obviously Angulo, Tarbi remain even to a certain degree. We haven't really seen an awful lot of them at all in the Premier League, and so how difficult does that make it for your planning for the future and what you want to do in those positions, that you've got a number of players there who actually we still don't really know what level they're at in terms of the Premier League?
Yeah, it was more or less the case for the team, for the whole squad. At the beginning of the season, so we trust them to step up, but they need time and experiences, and so we'll have those 4 games. Probably they won't have the possibility to play full games because it's still early in their pathways, but we'll see, and the pre-season will be helpful as well, so we'll see.
And Bertrand's in a bit of a different situation, because we have seen that what he's capable of in the Premier League. It feels like he's actually been quite a big miss, because as you say, no slight on Chris or anyone else who's played there, but actually the way you set your team up, you kind of need your wingers to do very specific jobs, and Bertrand was doing that for you, wasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Those positions are really important to threaten the opponent, and even to threaten the opponent, and it provokes a reaction. So when you give the ball to a strong winger and the opponents know that he's dangerous, he won't react in the same way if it's a young lad. So you can press him, you can go forward, and on the other situation you are more on the back foot, and so the whole behavior of the defense is totally different when you feel the threat. And at the minute, with our young wingers, I believe that they have great potential, but they need experience, they need time to be mature enough. Yeah.
And last one, you talked about the playoffs there. I just wonder if you've been keeping any kind of an eye, because you've got Anthony Patterson, Dan Neil, Jack Clark, who, you know, it's some ding-dong down there. It seems like every time you watch it, it's either a Sunderland player on loan or a Sunderland player who did something last season doing it again.
Yeah, it was an exciting...
And Alan Brown, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It would be an exciting period without us.
Yeah.
On the sofa, it would be really interesting. It's a good memory. Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Hey, Regis. Do you just kind of talking about a little bit of Phil's question there about sort of evolution and things? Do you think that this part of the season's been quite a valuable lesson for the players, especially as a newly promoted team, kind of understanding how quickly Premier League football can evolve? Because some of the tactics we've seen in the first half of the season, not just with yourselves but with other teams, have changed in the second half, quite drastically.
Yeah, it's about culture and flexibility. It's really important, and the players at that level, especially, they like clear answers. So let's say the opponent plays like that. This is how we can respond, and it will work. But the reality is different. So the reality is you might have a pattern, different kind of responses, but you have to stay flexible. And being flexible, you need experience, you need confidence, you need leadership. So it's different, and you can't learn that at a lower level. You have to be exposed to understand what are the problems, and then you can step up. And it's probably the case now. Yeah, I agree. On set pieces, for example, it's really clear. Yeah.
Set piece question.
Yeah. Yeah. I anticipated. I felt it.
Going back to Wolves, what kind of differences have you seen in them? Because it does seem like in the last couple of months, although relegated, their attitude especially seems totally different to when you guys played each other last year. Yeah,
we played against the back four first of all, and it's a back five. I still think they are playing with more freedom now, and because I still think that the relegation battle is heavy in your mind. So when you have this, you have to win. It's a must-win game once again, and you can't get the confidence. You can't accept the mistakes in the same way. And when it's not the case, you are lighter. And I think they are now in this situation, and they are probably working on the next challenge. So it's the beginning of the championship, and they will be one of the main team next season, and they are preparing this event now.